shut off the music.
Shut off the music. Yeah, she tell you to do all of that. So just after you do all of that, turn on these mics. I can flip them back off. Just like that. And then
No, we gotta turn it on now.
oh, so you're going now?
Yeah. Okay, so yes. Let's stop this.
Mm-hmm.
And then play the music. Right?
We running. We running. We running. Yeah, we running.
After this,
We running.
Yeah.
We running. So running. Let me know how to use that current topics. Too many to get it, we got it. Welcome to mind of the pockets. Nothing you can't do to stop us. It's like the bricks ain't Thomas. All year round, we the hottest. Sorry, I'm just being honest. We profit, the profit, the profit. Listen to hell, the latest. Muhammad Ali, we the greatest. So down to earth like the pavement. So solid, you cannot replace us. We talking about all of your favorites. Yeah. Reality, fantasy, friends, versus family. Top of the turn match state. Tune in, every week. We running. We running. We running. Yeah. We running. We running. We running. We running. Every night.
Hey, what's up, everybody out there? This is We Runnin' Radio. This is Akil Jacobs. I'm sorry, Eon Turnbull wasn't able to make it to this episode. He's out of town right now, but he'll be back soon in a hurry. We got a special guest today, Pete.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pete. Yes, we do have a special guest in the building. My sister, Chanel Peterson Rafael. I guess you do have quite a few titles. I guess I'll list your few titles here. Director of Marketing of the EDA, founder of Mellow Yoga, and also author of a cookbook, which we actually have here as well. The best sugar-free vegan, I can't actually the best sugar-free vegan cookbook ever.
He's read it before.
I like that title.
Which is available on Amazon as well, and a couple local stores here as well.
Thank you for having me today.
Hey, appreciate you. So our first topic today, let's get into it, political results. What are your thoughts on what happened with the results of the VI election? Pete, I'm gonna let you take that away.
Well, let's just give some numbers here quick for the folks here. Well, of course, we're going to be having a runoff. Albert Bryan did have 37%, I'm sorry, of the votes. Kenneth Mapp did have 33%. There is going to be a runoff, and actually a total of 25,000 Virgin Islands voting.
Yes,
Which is crazy. 25,000. It's probably about a quarter of actual residents.
Isn't that like our biggest turnout?
I'm not
One
sure.
of our biggest
I'm not sure
turnouts.
with the
It's
actual.
up there.
It's definitely more than the last two elections.
And the thing is the early voting.
Oh yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
that broke a lot of records. Like
It
a lot of
did.
people came out, and it's. I don't know why so many people are coming out, but I feel as though it's like there's a lot of things at stake right now. People are like feeling the pressure, and I don't know. They're talking with the vote because the line for early registration was long in some places, especially on the last day. So.
Yeah, there definitely was more people early voting actually that voted last time around. This time around, and actually you could do early voting now. I believe the elections, the last or main days to vote are actually November 17th and actually 18th,
Oh, okay.
which will be between Bryan and Matt. So.
I was not expecting this result. I mean, if you heard the last show, I was expecting most would have been a complete landslide victory. Complete landslide. I was expecting him to get at least 60% of the vote, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Probably he didn't have enough fry fish, Johnny Cake, rum. He didn't have any bands. He didn't have the cast situation.
I think we have such a large independent population. So whereas like a lot of places you have the Democrats, the Republicans, but because the Independence Party is so huge here, they're gonna have votes going that way.
Yeah.
And that's going to, when you have as well so many candidates within that party, you're going to have a lot of people that are divided in the independent party, and then you're going to have, of course, like the diehards, Republicans and Democrats that are going to vote Republican or Democrat. But for sure, I don't think we'll ever see a 60% landslide here, just because when has any 10 people, even if it came together on the island and all agreed.
Never.
Let's meet 6 people out of 10 on the island that says yes.
We
That
barely can
never
agree on this
happened.
show.
I was gonna say exactly.
It's just 3 of us.
I know.
So you can imagine thousands and thousands of Virgin Island bids.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't know if I was shocked. I mean, it kind of came into, you know, you had Sarai, you had Mosler, you had Donister, you had, and they kind of fell into where I thought they would, you know, realistically, besides the Mosler situation. But besides that, you know, they all kind of fell in. And, you know, I guess it was a good look. I was not expecting Albert Bryan to beat Map out the gate like what he did. You know, I wasn't, and the thing was close to like 1,000 white. I was like, whoa, okay, this is serious, you know. I don't, you know, I'm not gonna say who I voted for. I'm not gonna say who I'm supporting. But if you're in the Map camp right now, what is your mentality right now? Because you just got some serious body blows and a solid uppercut to the chin.
Well, it's funny how we started last week's show, St. Thomas versus St. Croix. And basically, that's how the votes went. It was just a little bit slight more people voted here in St. Thomas.
Don't start with fires.
No, I'm just saying exactly.
You saying St. Thomas beat out St. Croix?
That's what happened in the votes. They have the votes per island. They showed who voted more for. I think Map had a bigger percentage in St. Croix and versus Bryan, who had a bigger percentage here in St. Thomas. So basically, is what we talked about last week. Who's gonna get more people to come on and vote for them? Basically, St. Thomas versus St. Croix. Pothole versus pothole.
And you know, that's what a lot of people are talking about in this runoff. Are they going to make it a St. Thomas versus St. Croix thing? You know, because we had this discussion last episode, is like, we shouldn't really have a St. Thomas versus St. Croix thing because we equally share in the potholes. We equally share in the, you know, the bad, you know, the underpay in government salary, schools, crime, etc. You go down the line, we share in that. But when it comes to politics, it's like, no, St. Thomas versus St. Croix.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the sad part is just it's the underlining factor in any conversation, any argument, whether it's good or bad. When people are talking about, you know, you talk about a Kujan saying something positive, they're always going to go for Tim Duncan. But, you know, like St. Thomians, do we claim Tim Duncan as much? I would say yes.
Oh,
yes,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, sure. So we can agree on that. But let's
he
talk
was
about
out here.
whose pothole is bigger. It's always going to be the other island.
We're gonna claim Tim Duncan, but we're not gonna claim their violence over there, their crime.
and that's I think that's the problem.
See,
Exactly.
we claim the good, but not the bad. It's vice versa.
I love that point. Like, we all, St. John, Tortola, Water Island, Hassel Island, you know, St. Croix, even Tortola, because Tim Duncan's from the VI, you know? They just don't specify the British and you. But, you know, it's like, we'll all claim him and unify behind him, you know? But then when it comes to potholes, he's like, no, my pothole is bigger than your pothole.
Yeah.
So
who else won? Because I'm honestly, for me, I know the gubernatorial candidates are important, but I honestly feel a lot of those senators are the people that we actually know, some people we've actually grown up with now at this point, seeing as we're all getting old.
Donna Gregory with the uppercut out of
nowhere.
I'm not that old.
So anything surprising, I don't know, for you guys?
Donna Gregory bodied everybody on St. Thomas. It was just a body slam.
Yeah.
You know, like
Gregory had about,
WWE.
she had 10%, which is a big number for a senator
Out the gate.
locally. And then actually some senators that actually didn't get voted back in.
Was it Ford?
Yeah, Jean Ford didn't get voted back in. I think, of course, Millie Young ran for governor, so she's out as well.
Yeah, she didn't do so well.
Sauer got back in.
Yes.
Which I was actually surprised about. Of course, remember, she technically did get in the first time, but of course she had the technicality that got her voted back in. I wasn't sure, I'll say I personally voted for her, but I wasn't sure if the younger people were, well actually the older people were going to vote for her. That's what I was surprised. So I'm actually surprised and happy she's actually back in as well.
It's interesting when you say that, because like I was thinking the same thing. It's like she didn't get in on the first race. She didn't get in on the first race. And the guy was registered somewhere else, and it was all these technicalities, and she kind of won over in that sense. But I think that gave her opportunity to prove herself.
Yeah.
And through proving herself, she showed VI voters like, yo, you know, I'm someone who's trustworthy. I'm gonna make good decisions. Give me a chance. And that goes back to what we speak about in this show. It's a millennial show. Like, give us a chance. We'll show you that we are competent, we're capable, and that we can get things done. You know, and I think that, you know, what do you think? You know, giving young people more chances, more of an opportunity.
I think yes, that's definitely important, and it's hard because when you're living in a territory where the large population is older, like the younger generation, we are the minority. Whereas in a lot of other countries, you're gonna find that to be the complete opposite, where there are more young people in a city or state or country than there are older people. And what they're actually finding, because of the older generation being the majority, is that they have less likelihood for advancements, less likelihood for technology improvements in the island or for the territory, the area that they're in. And we can really go on and on about like economic issues and problems that are occurring in these areas just like ours because of our population difference. And I think it's just the reality of what makes it challenging, but it's not something that we're isolated to, because a lot of other places around the world are just like us, where we're fighting as the younger generation to be heard.
Are that big?
Oh, it is. They really are. And I've traveled a few places from time to time, and even in places we don't even expect, where you would think that they'd be a bit more progressive, but really the people is what sets the tone for the culture. And that culture isn't just from a historical dance music side, but also from an economic standpoint, and from a mentality standpoint, and from a side of progressing and being equal.
I'm gonna use that right now to swing it to Pete. That mentality, that economics. Pete, talk about Florida. What happened in Florida? Because I was not expecting Florida to happen like that.
I mean, Gilliam not getting it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we briefly spoke about it last week. Him and
because he was in there, throwing those body blows. He was. I don't know. I believe I was drinking the Kool-Aid.
I personally, I know you're alum with him as well, but I just felt like, I don't want to be negative Nancy, but I just feel like he wasn't going to get in. I didn't want to say that out loud. Of course, technically they haven't decided yet. They have to do a recount in Florida, Georgia, and actually Arizona for governor. In all three places, and actually senator as well. So there's going to be some recounts, and then there's probably going to be a runoff as well in those three states. But I'm actually surprised he got the number he got, because right now him and the other guy, they're both tied at 49 point something. Another guy's leading by a certain percentage, but I'm actually surprised to see what he got. I didn't think they're going to vote anybody black.
Tell me why.
I just feel people had Obama for 8 years. I feel they're not going to give us enough
That's
chance.
That's enough melanin.
Right, and this is why we're in the situation where we are with Trump, because people just want to go as far right as possible from Trump as possible.
Yeah.
And that's what we end up with Trump, because we had Obama for 8 years. But I just think, but of course that's my thinking. But I've seen difference in the results that people showed up.
I agree with how you thought about it, because Florida is Florida. It's got some very conservative parts of Florida, and it's a large body of it, but man, I was just hoping for some gun reform. I was hoping for some, he wants to address issues of environmental issues. Remember there was a big situation where you had the BP, you had the Shell oil spill, or was it BP? And then you had the
Gulf Coast.
Another part of the Gulf Coast, or I think it was being flooded by some chemicals, and it created like this red part of the panhandle.
Oh, yes.
And he was talking about like, yo, if you're gonna have big business, like you're not gonna get away tax free and scot free. You have to make sure that you're actually practicing within some kind of environmental situation where we respect, because our environment, and Florida is largely based on old people coming down, retiring, our beaches and their beaches, and so on and so forth. Similar to here in FBI, and so you can't just have oil on the beaches and still expect people to come down and buy houses.
Yeah.
And also, when that guy said we don't want to monkey this up, I was really like, oh, he's done, he's cooked, it's over. I thought like that's political
Oh,
suicide.
you think so? Have we not learned from
But
our
yeah,
current
yes. Oh my
situation
gosh.
that
But I
there
had
is-
yes.
There is no such thing as political suicide when you look the part. And I'm going to end it there. When
Okay.
you look the part, there's no such thing as political suicide. For everybody else that decides to run and you don't
If you're
look the
toast.
part, you have to be on your P's and Q's. But for everybody else, and we know who we're speaking of,
Yeah.
they can get away with anything.
But he was trying to set the tone by saying that comment. Which he
Well,
did.
He did.
He set the tone. He wanted to set the tone. He wanted to be aggressive. He wanted to let everybody know who was in control.
Don't monkey this up.
Well,
But he's not in
seen
control.
It's worked. He's
Huh?
seen it's worked.
It worked.
It worked in the past.
Oh.
It's worked from the past in terms of being aggressive about saying things that are inappropriate, saying things that egg people on, excite people negatively. Like all
and you
these
know-
things work. He gets publicity, and as we say in marketing, there's no such thing as
And he gets
bad
he gets
publicity.
rewarded. He gets rewarded because he's now the front runner for governor.
Yeah.
So don't monkey this up.
By a point. A percentage. It's like percentage, I guess.
So
But there's gonna be a lot.
apparently there's some ballots that we're missing because in Florida we can't count and we lose ballots. This is historic. This
It
goes back
is.
2001. So this is nothing new.
George Bush.
I was like, Bush was here.
So let's jump into our next topic. Our next topic is I don't know, some people say it's a touchy topic or whatever, but when your significant other makes more money, like if you live, you guys live together and your wife, your spouse makes more money than you, does that cause a rift in the relationship? Is there a power dynamic there? Let's talk about that power imbalance. Is there a power imbalance when money is?
There is, but
Or did I mess up the topic?
No.
Clarify.
You went in. I just want to give a quick number. 25% of women earn more than their partners. So
Okay.
25% so about 75. We're about on top for about 75% right now. 2018.
Okay.
I guess it's not my personal experience. If a woman makes more than me, I have no problem with it. I don't see it as a big deal. That means more money is coming in the house. That's no problem with me at all. That's more bills to pay, more money to save, more stuff to do, whatever it may be. But I have no problem with it if the woman makes more. I guess when we kind of brought this topic up between us, we kind of joked around. So say if she makes more, does that mean I have to wash the dishes? Does that mean I got to take
Are you
care of
doing
the
more
kids?
chores in the house?
Does that mean I got to change the Pampers, whatever it may be? I don't know. Maybe there's a couple of balances you got to work out percentage-wise. But you know what? If a woman makes more, I have no problem with it. I'm
Okay,
taking care of myself.
let me ask you this, Pete. Let me ask you this. If your woman makes more than you, does she now become the head of the household? Is she the head of the household? Let's
Wait,
talk
before
about it.
you even answer that,
Okay,
I
I'm sorry.
think we
Go
have
ahead.
to determine what is this head of the household, number one.
Okay,
And
let's get
number
into
two,
it. It's getting hot
this
already.
is only touchy for males. Okay, because
Okay.
there's no woman out there saying, "Oh, this is a touchy subject. I make more than my husband."
Now,
no,
let's talk about
like,
that.
There's
Let's talk
no
about
woman
that.
out there
'Cause-
saying that.
Do men feel as though we have to provide?
I have to fix it.
Provide. Is this because let's talk about it.
Yeah.
The male ego. And do I have to go out and hunt for deer meat and bush meat and bring it home and throw it on the doorstep and then cook it all
Well,
manly?
I think there are a lot of challenges in my household because we're vegan. So
Well,
no one's
I gotta
hunting
go
for
hunt
me.
the broccoli. I gotta hunt for broccoli and cabbage and pumpkin
And quinoa.
and grapes and stuff like that.
Oh, that's funny. No, I think this is a perfect room for acknowledging what men really think. Because as a woman, and if I was making more than my husband, would I expect him to do more? I don't know if it's a matter of doing more in the house. It's more of how busy are we both? And because if we're both busy and we're both tired, then I think the fair thing would be that whatever is left, quote unquote, at home to do would be shared. And now, some of those shared activities may be traditionally seen as a woman activity, but this is again always something that I think of as something that's relative to our culture. So we're living in American culture, even though we like to
Slash
describe
Caribbean.
ourselves as Caribbean, but we have very much American
Absolutely.
theology, American beliefs. Now you go to ancient times in different areas of the world, and you're not going to find this head of the household. In fact, that doesn't even exist in some places. So that's why I think it's important to determine what is this head of the household? What does that even mean? And then from there decide,
Well, I'm not gonna
is
lie.
she really the head of the
we
household?
gotta talk about it, you know.
Well, head of the household, I think, is starting in your taxes, right? Isn't the taxes starting? Does it say head of the household? That's where it started from. The man is basically trying to separate the home and see who makes more money to put them on top. I'm joking. But that's where head of the households come from,
It's true,
technically.
that's
Your
true.
taxes when you file your
Okay,
taxes.
but you know, I think that I find, or that in my experiences, when we're on like an even plateau, it kind of just, it's a balance, you know. How would I feel making $50,000 a year and my wife is making $3 million, you know?
So
And
that's
hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. So, you know, when she says, you know, let's shut off the light to save some electricity on the electricity bill, you know, do I have a say in that since I don't pay the electricity bill? Or do I just have to be like, okay, honey, well, shut it off? You know, like, I'm just saying, like, you know, let's talk about that power dynamic. Because it's real.
Okay,
It's real.
okay.
And we cannot ignore it.
There's
We
so many
can't.
different things you can break down in relationships.
Mhm.
Money, who's more
Is-
outgoing, who's not, who's reserved. There's so many different things. I know we always have this saying where relationships are 50-50. It's not. It's not 50-50.
But that's
Some
supposed
days,
to be.
some days you're gonna bring 75% to the table. Not money, not whatever it may be. Some days you're just gonna bring more to the table. Some days your partner is gonna bring more. Some days I might be off my game. Some days you may be up in your game. So I think we need this 50-50 thing. It's not how relationships actually are. Someone's always gonna be bringing more to the table,
Absolutely.
and it's all about balancing each other out. Whatever it may be, money or whatever, it's their personal lives, whatever it may be. It's not 50-50. Nothing's 50-50 in life.
I think that as long as, me personally, as long as I'm bringing in some money, I feel good. You know, like I can't be bringing in nothing. You know, like
Something to
is, you know, like imagine going out to dinner, you know, on a regular basis with your wife, and she has to front the bill all the time. I think I just feel like I feel useless, man. I just feel like no, man. I would like to contribute and pay and help. You know, I feel like a hunter without.
You want to at least tip?
well,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna say this. If that's how you feel, why don't you just, if you're feeling that way, why don't you just cook and clean and take care of the children and make her bed? And so now you won't have to feel useless anymore. Because what you're
Jeez.
essentially
Ouch.
saying is that when a woman isn't providing financially or monetarily, does she feel useless? When she's just cooking and cleaning and taking care of the children.
Nobody said
We
that.
I'm
going
just
getting
saying.
deep here.
I'm
Nobody
just
said
saying.
Nobody said that.
I'm just saying. So, like, when you're putting yourself in that position, you're saying you feel useless. Then you're kind of saying that the person that is in that situation may have that
No.
similar.
I'm just talking about me. I cannot speak for anybody else but myself. Right? If I'm a lion, I want to go out there and help the other lions catch the wildebeest so we can take it down. I feel like I don't want to just like mosey on in and just be like, let me get my piece. You know what I mean? Like I want to help.
Mhm. For the record, lionesses do all the hunting in the.
The male lion comes in every now and again to get some big, you know, bigger game. But yes, the female
lions
does.
do go out and do all the hunting.
Vast
but it's
majority.
Mhm.
Let's say vast majority. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've seen some male jump in on some big game, giraffes,
They
and
come afterwards.
You know.
help out.
but usually they're just
Sounds
frolicking
like-
along and tending to the. But-
But
But
The Sahara.
in his defense, when other male lions come for the pride, the women usually go behind him, and he has to now fight. And those males usually fight to the death, get their eyes ripped out, and all kinds of craziness. You know? So.
You know, I think something was interesting that was mentioned. So we talked about finding a balance and the whole 50-50 thing. So I agree, 50-50 doesn't exist because sometimes you're going to need the male, testosterone to be more prominent in a situation. Other times you're going to need the female estrogen to be more prominent in a situation. But I think what happens is, testosterone is a lot more appreciated and revered and honored, but estrogen isn't. So when a woman
To
or
the
a person,
uneducated, to the uneducated.
well, I mean,
That's,
even
you know.
just for a person, well, no, even for the educated.
You think so?
Oh my gosh, when you think
I love
about
some estrogen. I love- I
when
love
you
the
think
ladies.
about the things that are knowingly woman or knowingly motherly, they aren't positive things. Like the connotation or denotation isn't positive when you say, oh, that dude's so motherly. Oh, that dude's so caring. Oh, that dude, like, you see how you're laughing already, right? Because why isn't it that
Because
this
society
female,
grows us to be macho. You gotta be
but
strong.
you have
It's terrible.
both sides,
It's-
and that's what needs to be understood. Is
Absolute toxic
male
masculinity.
and females have both sides of the estrogen and the testosterone, and in certain times both will come out, but then both sides need to be equally appreciated.
Absolutely.
And not just because, yes, a man, because of his strength and size at times, can be quote unquote the hero, but when a
You know, we
woman
love the
comes
hero.
and she is motherly and nurturing and she
Pete,
lifts
jump in,
someone's spirit up, how is that not equally seen as heroic? But
It's
because it
just
wasn't
as
the
equal.
physical, instead it
Well,
was more
you know, if
tender.
we want to go in on this,
She
you
is,
know.
she is right what she's saying.
Okay, go ahead.
But of course, you know, sometimes the men sometimes do a little bit more as well. I don't wanna- you know, say there's something wrong with the car, you know, the tire needs air, you gotta jump a battery, you know, whatever it may be. We always gotta take care of this kind of stuff, which I'm not complaining about.
But Pete,
This
let
is
me
stuff we
ask you
do.
a question. I would, you
I
know,
don't-
me personally, if the car got a flat and my wife got out and started and I stayed in the car, or she just
I'm
decided
saying exactly,
to change
but
the
it's-
tire, I mean, or if I passed by and I saw that, I would feel away. I'd be like, yo,
But,
you
okay.
have your Empress out here with, you know, a jack and a wrench or whatever, you know, and she's changing the tire, you're inside the car. I mean, but essentially, if, you know, maybe I don't know. I feel like that's man work.
See, exactly.
It's-
We
that's
have-
bad, though. That's
There's,
terrible.
there's
That's
certain
terrible.
things that fall under automatically our resume that we have to take care of at the home. But I guess certain things as well, women do fall under, you know, I guess technically the breastfeeding they would have to do
You took it there. Right?
if they need.
So you
Well,
got-
they would have to do that. We can't do that.
But,
we can't
you know-
provide
Yeah,
milk.
you guys can't do
Chanel,
that. You can't do that.
and so, you know, maybe some men feel as though, you know, this is our thing, let us have it, because we can't breastfeed, we can't give birth, we'll never be able to do those things. That's what, you know, the creator or whoever created this thing that we're in gave and ordained to you. But you can do everything, which means, you know, you're more important to the society and you know, stronger and stuff
But
like
see,
that. So
that's-
I feel like men are fighting for their, no, let me have my bushmeat and my hunting skills and let me be the one to fix the engine and change the oil, you know, let me have something. We're fighting for our understanding of ourselves, in a sense. I don't know.
So I know I'm gonna take. Well, I know all the feminists out there that are listening, be like,
They're
she said
disgusted.
what? I'm gonna say this
With what I'm
because
saying.
I don't
Don't get
think
fired.
that women should do everything. That's because you're saying we can do everything because we can breastfeed, we can birth, but no, I don't think women should do everything,
You
and
shouldn't.
I don't think women can do
I like that.
everything.
Let us have
And-
something. Y'all got everything. Let us have a little piece.
Well, it's not even about having it's just about the, you know, the complementary, really. It's about being complementary. And in complementary, there's no fighting for balance. There's no, you know, this is my terrain, this is your terrain. Because again, if a husband gets hurt, and a guy comes and he tries to break into the house with them, you think the woman's just gonna stand there and
Yeah,
say,
she
oh
gotta
my
start
God, he's
busting some shots.
exactly,
Yeah.
she's gonna
Yeah,
become
hold
the
it down.
aggressive, the fighter. And the same thing, like if the mom is out and the child starts crying, the dad's not gonna punch the kid in the face and say, get over
He's
it.
not gonna breastfeed
Let's
either.
hope that doesn't happen. But what he is gonna do, he's gonna be nurturing and caring and motherly to that child.
So I like that, you know, like we need to tear down these stereotypes that a man, we can be loving, we can cry, we can, you know, kindness and you know, those qualities, you know. But also let me ask you a
You got
couple.
more emotions in there. Bring them out.
Also to protect her.
You know?
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
To touch, protect her.
But, you know, so, but, you know, you said in the earlier, like, we are an American territory, you know, and in America we never had a female president or vice president, so, you know, that ego is there, like, this job is for man. He must lead valiantly us into the future, which is going terribly wrong right now. You know? We're not being, I don't know if we're being led anywhere, but, you know, some people would say yes. So,
Well, Hillary Clinton almost slowly got in there last election. Almost got in there.
do you foresee, you know, like a female president, vice president in our lifetime? I mean, I didn't see Barack. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, at the beginning when he was campaigning, he came to. I didn't even go to see him because I didn't know he was a senator at the time. And I was like, Barack Obama, who's that? 6, 8 months later, and he was like, this is Barack, and I'm like, oh, that is Barack. Oh my God. Joined the campaign and started. I was like, that's Barack, you know. So, you know, but do you see like, you know, brilliant woman coming and leading the nation?
I think it's every woman's dream to see a woman in leadership. My thing is, why? And we say we're a progressive country because we have all this technology, etc. But you look at so many countries in South America, and they've had many
In Africa
presidents.
as well.
Oh yeah, they've had many
Many.
women presidents.
Many.
It's the norm, and it's not because they're a woman. It's because they were just simply better candidate for that particular job. And I think that's how we need to start looking at the presidents, or how we vote is really, you know, are they better for the job?
Yes.
Rather than because they're a woman or because they're not a woman. And maybe the problem is that we don't have enough women actually going out there. So we had one woman recently that was pretty close, and we were all excited. Well, some of us were excited about it, and this could potentially be happening. But it's really sad. It's really sad that we're relying on this one woman after how many years that this country has been established, and that when we have to be either glad that she's there, or else we're not a feminist and we hate women, or we have to be glad that, you know, or upset that she didn't get in because either, you know, it didn't, for me, I wasn't moved by this because I'm like, you're telling me I have one choice because she's a woman, that's why I have to choose her, not that I have a plethora of women to choose from, and now I can really decide who's the best candidate. And it's such a terrible conversation in my opinion, because we are so backwards.
Yes.
And when we look at all these other countries that are like on their second and third and fourth and fifth and 15, you know, women leaders, and here we are upset or not upset because Hillary didn't win. I'm like, this is silly. The whole system is just silly.
I'm gonna get in some deep water, Pete. Well, go ahead.
Well,
Pete.
it's something we're eventually going to see. Sarah Palin was the vice president candidate with John McCain, and also Hillary Clinton just ran 2 years ago as well. So it's eventually going to happen. I think the problem with America is we're just sexist.
Yes.
Okay, men are sexist.
Yes.
You know what? Women are sexist against each other more than men, I think, as well.
54% of some women voted for Trump.
So it's you know,
54%.
It is going to happen in our lifetime, but the problem is we're all sexist. Men, women, whatever it may be.
Male ego.
Women judge women more than men judge women, I think.
Of course, women would say men make us judge women more than women.
Whoa. That's not what the numbers say.
Hey.
92%. I'm just making up numbers now.
Have we had any female governors in the VI, lieutenant governors?
No, we have not.
Well, we did have a candidate that's run, but
We had a candidate,
run.
but we saw her numbers.
Oh God. And did she? I don't think she cracked the.
I thought what Angel, I can't remember his name. Angel, what's his name?
Oh, Angel. No, I'm talking about we just had Millen Young.
Oh yeah, Millie Young. We just had two
Soraya.
candidates, actually.
Soraya.
Didn't Soraya get like around 800 or something like this?
I'm not sure her exact numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, Young barely had 100 and change. I can't imagine. I was
I think she
disappointed with that.
cracked 200.
I think it was
Okay,
like
whatever
two-
it may be.
two of
Okay,
us.
say
That
she
was
got.
pretty. I mean, out of
I was
the
pretty
number
shocked.
of people that voted, that was very surprising.
Yeah, but she was a senator that got voted in last time. She got at least 2,000 votes last time.
Senate
around.
votes don't always translate into government votes. You know?
If we learn
Obviously,
that.
we're-
Let's see that out. Clearly.
Campaign money
Clearly we
gone.
see that.
Yeah.
You know, I
That
don't
was a
know.
tough-
We could delve into
tough
that
one.
more, but you know, we got some other topics that we want to touch on. You know, and this other topic is he kind of was interested in it. We're all interested in it. This social media addiction. Is our generation addicted to social media, technology, these kinds of things? Is it Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat?
Well, let's just say, I'm gonna
Is
give
it
some
the new
quick
crack?
numbers.
Is it the new crack?
I'll give some quick numbers. Well, it's not social media addiction. Actually, I think you could describe it as phone addiction.
Okay.
We're addicted to our phone. We're addicted to these apps they create that want us wanting more, want us wanting notifications, whatever it may be. I just got some quick numbers online earlier, but 60% of college students, they said they're addicted to social media. That 60%, I think it's actually higher, but this is actually a study done, I forget who it was.
Those
but-
who are
Yo,
no longer in
Pete.
denial.
Yo, Pete, I mean, like, let me ask you a quick question, right? Like, if your phone gets no notifications, no messages for like a day, some people feel like, man, I'm just a nobody. Like, nobody's even messaged me to check on me, see if I'm alive,
It seems like a
nothing.
peaceful day, actually, just to get out the
Now, yes,
I mean, once in a while, you just
now.
gotta turn your phone off, get out the grid, man. Nothing
Yes,
wrong with
that's
that.
very true. That's very true.
But yeah, I think these apps and these phones, I guess, was Apple the one first, I guess, who
I think it was Apple.
the
but
first created apps, I guess, technically, and then, I think, no, it was,
I know Apple created the first iPhone, which could do all this web browsing and just like gave you like a small computer in your hand.
there was one phone designed right before Apple, but I can't remember. the name,
Blueberry?
But no, it was something between there, and they used to call it widgets.
Oh,
It was widgets before, then Apple came out, then Apple called it an app.
Yeah.
And you had a
Like-
sidekick.
Yeah, it was a sidekick, but it was something in
Sidekick.
between those. It was something like slightly nicer than a sidekick, but it had a touchscreen. But it was right before Apple. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now.
Obviously, they're probably not in existence.
They're not. That's why we can't remember them. But I do remember having one before I switched to iPhone back in the days. But I think these companies are they just want us. I know I'm addicted to my
I'm
phone.
addicted, man.
I can't lie. I'm addicted to my phone. The apps, whatever it may be. I have my grocery list on my phone. I keep, you know.
Crack. It's crack.
And it was actually, I was reading a study, these college students, they're addicted to taking selfies. Like,
Yeah.
these people take
Mm.
up to hundreds of selfies a day, and then they choose the perfect one that they're going to share on social media. But I was like, hundreds?
Hundreds.
I was like, who takes hundreds of selfies a day? I'm like, this is crazy.
That's
Who
on
has
another level.
Where's
right
that kind of
there.
time in their hands? But
I mean, if you think selfies are bad, I'm sure photographers have seriously like skyrocketed. The industry for photographers has skyrocketed because everybody is hiring a photographer, whether it's their friend or wherever, and they're wanting these perfect pictures for their IG because you know they gotta do it for the gram. And it's so crazy. And when I say it's crazy, like I know a lot of younger people because at my studio, you know, I've had many people of different ages come in and I see the difference. I see the difference from like once you're under 30, once you're over 30, and then once you're over 40, and then once you're over 50, the levels of addiction are clear.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed, and now it's in movies, right, where they're making fun of it, but that's just because it's old people making movies. But you have movies now where they're like making fun of like all the kids at the table on their phones. I'm like, I'm waiting for the movie that's actually created by these people. I really think, will they be talking? Will the whole movie be based on them texting to each other? Can you imagine that? Like a movie where they zoom in and they go back and forth
Hold on, you
between
don't want to get
texts.
too much. You want them to like, take that. You want them rights. You need the copyright.
But yeah, things have changed.
You heard it here, folks.
We're running radio.
We didn't even plug our social media. I guess we'll plug it eventually. But I think things have changed. Yes, I keep on forgetting what year it is. We're in 2018, but even dating has changed because of phones. You know, you date, people don't even date. Tinder, the Bumble.
Tinder.
People don't date like they normally did. I think it's just you meet someone at a bar, or a restaurant, a grocery store. Hey, what's your name? Nah,
That's
I'm not gonna
becoming,
swipe.
like, so-
I'm gonna see if
It's
she's
like
a.
so
I'll see
old
if she's a-
fashioned now.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
like
to talk
so
to
you
someone?
met somebody outside of an app. What?
Yeah. I mean, talk about that, Chanel. Like, are
I'm
we
married.
becoming?
I can't talk about it.
Well, okay.
We're
You know what? You
robots.
got friends.
We're
You got
robots.
friends.
We're
You got
robots.
friends.
We're robots.
Are we
Yeah.
becoming more socially awkward? Like the other day, I went into Kmart and almost had a panic attack. So many people, so much stimulation. Maybe I was just in a not so people mood,
Yeah.
and I was just like, man, I'd just rather be at home on my phone doing something. And then some old guy started, was telling me about like Psalms 22, and when you rest your head, you gotta pray. And I was like, oh man, just go home. I just need to buy some pillows, and so I go back to my house and watch a movie and chill. But so are we becoming more like socially awkward, like not interacting? We just want to be on our phones. Like,
Yeah.
when you're walking through a crowd of people, sometimes I'm gonna be honest. I just put my phone so I don't have to talk, and just like I got stuff to do. I don't really want to sit down and have a conversation.
I think we are. Not even just socially awkward, but we're becoming socially distant. We're becoming unsociable people. I don't know if that's an actual phrase. But, and all of it's because we've gotten used to this communication behind of a phone. Like, we're not used to having to see physical expressions, hearing the tone in someone's voice. Like, and imagine, what was it? I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, 90% of communication was body language. 90%. Now, on a phone, that means we're communicating with 10% of what we have historically communicated with. So if now you've taken the 90% of the body language, that level of communication, out the door, through the window, because nobody's even looking up to see what color your eyes are these days, because they're too busy in their phone.
Watching your
Like,
gram.
now we're depending on this 10%.
I can see your eyes from your gram, though.
But we all know she used a filter.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it's funny you say that 90%. Sometimes people do FaceTime, and I'm not a FaceTime person. I don't like seeing people's faces. But also, it's funny you say body language. You can do body language by emojis. I could say what mood I'm in by my emoji and my response. That's what the game is changing. I can put my when you send me a message or a conversation and say there's a disagreement or agreement, by my emoji response basically is how I feel about the subject. If I'm laughing, I have no response. If I'm using the eyes, that's things have changed. It makes it easier.
Let me ask
Less
you a question.
No.
Have you ever text someone and then they call you and you're like, why are you calling me? Why don't you just text me back?
For a conversation going, I'm like, I don't want to do this texting thing back and forth all night long. Let's just knock this out in about 2 to 5 minutes, which will be probably 100 texts back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes if
So, that adds into another situation which goes into Chanel. Not only the body language, but sometimes we don't want to hear each other's voice. You just want to send that quick text and be like, I don't want to see you, see the body language. I don't want to hear you. I just want to text. Respond to me via text.
It's
Like,
easy.
where are we headed?
Easy. You don't have to worry about, can I hear some kind of undertone of happiness or sadness or upset or irritability. Like, we've taken out so much of our forms of communication and we've let it down to reading. Now we communicate through reading. And I know how I read a book.
Sometimes that's good though.
It's very different from how somebody else reads a book. So here I'm writing a story because I'm the author here in my text, and you are the reader reading this text, and you're gonna, just like how you read, we're gonna put pictures and images and coloring and make it this whatever it is, happy, mad, or sad. Whereas the whole time the author's like completely in the opposite direction.
But is this good for us, Pete, when you want to shoot your shot?
well, it all depends. It all depends on the age group. I'm not gonna say my age in the radio, but it all depends on what the age of the person is you're trying to talk to. The younger people just want to text.
Yeah.
I personally, if I'm trying to get to know someone, I actually like to talk to them over the phone, just in the beginning, just to get to know them.
That's probably our issue.
Just get to know them for a week or two probably, and then just go from. Then I feel like I might know you, and then I could get into text mode from there. But I think talking wise, I just need to, I want to talk to them, get to know them, figure out their demeanor, their flow, I guess, whatever it may be. I think maybe I'm just old school. I think you still need to talk to people, man. You still, when you're dating this world, this new world we live in now, you still have to talk, man. It's just gonna be a false relationship, man.
See something. I don't know where. Imagine where we're gonna be like 10 years from now. And when texting is old. Imagine when texting is old. Like you still text. You know, it's
What's
gonna be like.
the new
I think
thing?
this is just me. I think it's gonna be like voice command. So like you just say what you want to say, and then the computer will either you can have the option to have the computer say it to the person or text it out to the person, or I don't know.
There's an app that already does that.
Is there an app?
But it
Okay,
still won't even
jeez.
be like in your voice. That's the so you know how like they
No,
put
you
it
should
where
do it. There's an app where you actually record your voice and then they actually send messages with their voices back and forth, which I think is the stupidest thing ever.
no, it is silly because it's still missing the instant response, and that's why we're socially awkward. Because in real life, you don't have 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, 30 minutes to think about what you're going to say. Whereas with text, when somebody texts you, you can wait and go back, and then we all see it. We all see the dot, 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 rethinking, rewording, no, I don't like that, wait, and then you're both like, oh crap, we're both doing it at the same time. I've literally gone to another app just to talk about what I wanted to say.
You copy and paste
Because I
it?
didn't want them to see me going back and forth. Thinking, which is funny because that's our form of communication now is looking at, are they really, like, that's just, it's crazy.
So let me
it's
ask
a crazy
you
world.
just quick little. Do women still want you to approach them, or do you should just catch up with them on Tinder? Like, is that becoming the thing? Because it used to be back when I was in high school and college, you had to muster the courage.
Sound like you're getting old, man.
I'm getting old.
Back in
I
my
got
days.
one bright gray hair right here. I'm not cutting it. It's my
Back in my days.
Back in the day.
When I rolled on my horse.
You know, and I was, But anyways, you had to muster some courage. You had to go up to her and you had to talk. Even if you had butterflies or whatever, you had to, if you were whack, you got shot down. Now it's just like, let me just send her a quick text and, put up some stuff, so it's changing. But,
I don't know if it's changing in a bad way because maybe a lot of guys who wouldn't have had the courage is now having the courage, and so
shooting
a
all
lot
kind of
more of these
shots.
dudes are getting chicks. I don't know. I don't really know what's out there. But but maybe it also, and maybe it does kind of level the playing field.
Mm.
But it doesn't also though because people usually go off of looks, right? Whereas like in real life, usually you're seeing the person engaging with other people, you're seeing how they're acting at a party.
How can you tell swag through the text?
You
You
can't.
You cannot tell swag
Much less
through
through
the text.
Tinder.
You can tell by the
And
emoji
Tinder
stage.
lies. They all lie.
But then
I think the
I'm
game,
not on there for the record.
the world is changing. I just have to say a couple things. I just dislike filters. I think these filters and these social media sites.
Pete has a personal agenda.
I dislike these filters. I think it sometimes makes someone look a little bit better than they actually do.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So it's like
That
sometimes
was very kind of you. You said a little.
a lot. Okay, yes, a little. But they put these filters on and they look. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I remember this one time I was dating
I
this
got
girl.
Beyonce in the phone.
I was dating this girl and she would use filters, and I'd be at work on my phone. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, is that who I'm like, oh, she's looking way better. I was like, and I get off work, we see it, I'm like, oh, it's that filter. I was like, wow, that filter just takes it does something. It takes the game to another level. And then also another thing as well, it's just the game has changed, but also you do get to slide in DMs now. Like it's like there's no tomorrow. You could just literally
It's
slide in.
shot.
You can slide in DM right. I can slide in DM right now while we're recording the show. It doesn't. It's that quick and easy.
Swag DMs.
But it's also a different. It's a balance to it as well.
But Pete,
you have to do it with respect.
In line with what you were saying, as Ian, as our comrade who's not here,
Compadre.
Let's
Well,
use
yeah.
that segue into people using these emojis to look better and brighten up their faces to plastic surgery.
Ooh.
That plastic surgery, I mean, fake this, fake that, fake nose. We're some women are getting boob jobs, and the thing that I see that is in right now is the butt implants, butt shots.
Let me give some.
Everybody has a huge.
We got numbers
Sorry,
on
go
what
ahead.
shots?
Go
Great
ahead.
segue. Great segue, Kale. I did not. I got some numbers actually. This is from 2017, and this is from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. Well, 2017, there's 300,000 breast augmentations done, 246,000 liposuctions, 218,000 nose reshapings, and the butt implants and butt liposuction, whatever you want to call it. I didn't write it down, but each were over 100,000 each for 2017, and each was also up 20% from 2016 as well.
I thought butt would have been a lot bigger. Butt is like.
Well, I think also these are also legal
Butt
numbers.
is in right now.
These are also legal numbers from the American.
Because we got a lot of illegal.
I think there's also a lot of illegal things that
yeah.
are done.
You go to anybody in Texas that has had, well, I shouldn't say anybody. Many people in Texas and California, anyone living along the border of Mexico, knows that you can go to Mexico and get the same plastic surgery for like a third of the price. And so they're not taking into consideration, or even the rumors about going to DR now, DR being popular.
A lady had
That's very
died.
common here.
A lady had died on, she went over there, she got a surgery, and she died over there. And they brought her body back and had a funeral here.
Oh my god.
So it's real.
Yeah.
Pete, go ahead. You seem like
I personally do not care for it as a man, women having these kind of stuff done. I understand we live in a different world where everyone feels they have to look perfect. Every picture has to be perfect. Every selfie has to be perfect. I feel like if you post pictures at these social media sites, you should have to post one in the morning to show what you actually look like versus, and then like an update during the day, because it's a fake world we're living in. People post like, oh my god, wow, she looks.
against these filters.
It's disgusting, man.
It's false advertising.
It is false advertising.
It is.
You know, these people put these pictures on social media, and you see them in public later in the day, and you're like, you don't recognize them because they look so different on the internet. But I personally don't care for these alterations women do to themselves. But society pushes this kind of stuff on us. These magazines, well, of course, magazines are slowly disappearing in the newspapers, but they push these things on us. These celebrities who look perfect, but they actually aren't perfect. All these editors are actually just editing the way their way things look. Yeah, exactly.
Damn filters.
Correct. And then they edit these things to make everyone think, oh, that's the way people look. I have to look perfect as well. But we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're all human beings.
We are
all have
perfectly
flaws.
unperfect.
Correct.
Chanel, I
you
see
know,
you over there bubbling.
So I just want to say for the record, people that decide to go through surgery or augmentation in any way they're welcome to do that because it's their choice,
absolutely.
their money,
We
their
love
body.
you regardless.
Exactly. My challenge is that we are currently in a society where we have no self-esteem. And you talk about, oh, I didn't get a notification or somebody didn't message me today. Like, that was pretty normal. Like 20 years ago, I would literally, when I was living on my own, I would go the whole day and like nobody called me. No, there was no Facebook or Instagram. And I remember this distinctly because it happened all the time on the weekend. And so I'd be Saturday, it's like evening time by now, and somebody calls, and for the first time for the day, I speak. Because nobody.
Are you like
I know. They're like, are you waking up? I'm like, no, there's nobody living with me. I just haven't spoken yet for the day. But like now, here we're always connected to this fake connection. And so if it's scrolling through, you're looking and you're gazing, but you're also in many ways, I think, for a lot of people, just envious and jealous, and so you have these thoughts of, oh, I wish that was me, I wish this was my life, oh, because nobody takes a picture of them and their husband getting in the argument.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's like videotaping when their kids are like running up and down the store. Well, some people do that. But like nobody takes the real life photos. And so what we have instead are a bunch of perfect situations, perfect bodies, perfect faces, perfect filters. And so now we're trying to make the filter into the real thing. And my other problem is that the real thing comes in two different ways. We're either A, trying to gentrify our features, or B, the gentrifier is taking the features of African people. And that's the problem.
And let
That's
me
the
just
biggest
add
problem
on
I
to
have.
that and
Mhm.
commodifying it and making money from it. So at one time, it was a black Latina kind of shape. It was that curve.
Yeah. And
which-
now you can buy it.
and now you can buy it. And shout out to all the curvy women. Hey, we love you. Okay, that's another episode.
Don't
But
get
it's
fired.
just-
Don't get fired.
It's too much curves now. It's just curves everywhere, and it's just like I see. It's like some of it is a lot of it is fake. So when I see it, and I'm like, when I see it, I'm like, wow. And then I see like, oh, that's fake. And then I'm like, man.
Can you guys really tell?
Yeah,
You can tell if it's
definitely.
fake?
You can tell from the circumference. Okay, it's
You can tell.
special.
Wow.
No, but if you have
Okay.
small thighs and your behind is
2 feet.
2 feet, okay, we got a hey, I don't know, but what I'm saying is
Just
that
I don't know.
I see that on you, and then I think about what was in your mind
Yeah.
to do that. Is that the kind of person I want to be close to, and you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
And shout out to everybody. I think that we're all created perfectly imperfect. And I have to, say that I don't know what pressure some of these people are under. Some of these people may really want to do harm to themselves or feel bad or feel down, and they get these surgeries so that they can feel good and get the attention. So hey, I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm just giving my own thoughts about it. But I wish it wasn't so much, faking the funk going on, fake breasts and fake this, and then guys getting fake noses and a bunch of stuff, fake muscles and
hairlines,
fake hairlines.
Fake locks? Come
Yo.
on, guys, get out of here. Grow it. Don't comb it.
When
You can get fake locks?
When did guys putting in weave become
Guys,
something?
I
oh
want
my
some fake locks.
gosh.
Naughty drag, naughty drag.
Just for a week or two. Throw them in. Throw them in. Take them
I
out.
didn't know this was a thing.
It's a thing.
Oh, wow.
It's a real thing.
Nice.
Yeah, man, the fake
Yeah.
hairline. Hey, you're going bald. Accept it. Just shave it off. Do the Michael Jordan, man. It's all right. We still got love for you. Some women are gonna like the bald. And then that's
Or just change your diet, nutrition
nutrition.
and bring.
I gotta get on this vegan diet. What about gray hairs?
Yes,
You're
gray
screwed.
hair is actually just a mineral deficiency.
Okay, what minerals do I need? Let me write this down. Hold on. Okay, we get it after the show.
That's for another episode.
Hey,
Looks like you have to bring me back, guys.
we have a couple minutes, so quick question. Any thoughts about this runoff? Is it gonna be, are we gonna have some upsets? We don't know.
He's the executive director. I'm not sure if he's the founder that actually brought it here.
Nels.
I'm sorry.
Nels.
Nels is the founder?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess Neil Hodgson's the executive director now, whatever it may be, but I guess he.
Oh, that's his nickname.
Oh, Nels is nickname?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, so he's the same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said. Oh, what I said.
Oh, shout
He
out to
said
him.
Neil.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Nels obviously the executive director. This will be the 19th year. Of course, 18 years it's been here, but of course last year we didn't have it due to the storms or everything. So
Nice jam.
that'll be the spotlight. Also the spotlight, since we're on UVI's radio 97.3 here. Also the agriculture fair, that's will be this weekend as well.
Yes.
The 17th and 18th down by Bordeaux as well.
There you go. All right, this will be Runnin Radio.
And also, I guess we do, since we have our special guest,
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
we
sorry.
need to plug your radio.
Oh, sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's
Go
do
ahead.
it. Okay, so if you want to find my cookbook, it's the best sugar-free vegan cookbook ever. You can find it on Amazon. Also, look me up on IG, Chanel Peterson Rafael, as well as on Facebook. So on IG, I'm going to be Chanel Rafael, Reffell.
All right, and we're out.
Thank you. We running.